Alright, how's it going, everybody? We'll get started a little bit early, about a minute or so early. Hope everyone's doing well. Storm Chaser Tyler Kurtz here. Let me know if audio is good before we get started. Hello to everyone on Facebook, on my Facebook channel, if there's anybody watching there, and hello to everyone on YouTube. Hopefully audio is good. What's up, James? How's it going? So let's kind of go ahead and get started. Hopefully the audio is good. I think it should be. Let me know if it's not. Yeah, this weekend, tomorrow into Monday, it's going to be a roller coaster of events. We have this slight risk over portions of north central Oklahoma into a big stretch of Kansas. Then the marginal risk extends up here into Nebraska. And we'll go ahead and take a look at the tornado risk. So there is a 2% that hugs the Nebraska-Kansas border, portions of Kansas, and into Oklahoma, Oklahoma-Texas border. And then also there's a 5% tornado risk north central Oklahoma into central Kansas. So I do plan to chase this weekend. I'm leaning towards Kansas. However, I'm kind of curious up here in southwest Nebraska what's going to potentially happen. The low might be situated kind of more up here. So I don't know. That's going to kind of suck if I head down to Kansas and then there ends up being like supercells and potentially tornadoes in Nebraska, even though there's not that risk yet, but the SPC could add that for the overnight update. So that's going to be interesting. And that would be something else to see supercells or possibly a tornado and then a blizzard like in a 12-hour time frame within the same state. We'll get into the blizzard side here in a little bit. I just wanted to touch on the severe weather side first. Let's go ahead and take a look at some models. We'll use the HRRR 12Z model run as that's the one that goes out far enough so far. So with this setup, there is a lot of moisture concerns. There's a lot of other really great parameters. The shear is going to be pretty good. There's going to be a lot of lifting mechanisms. There's going to be a strong low-level jet that comes in around sunset. So nearly all the other parameters that are needed for supercells and tornadoes look absolutely fantastic. However, it's this limited moisture. So we'll go ahead and move this forward. So not a whole lot of moisture. Like if I actually go to where it actually shows the values. As we move into Sundays, we're in like the low 50s, potentially mid 50s in some areas as we go through Sunday. I believe this is 7 o'clock at 0Z. So it's showing like 52, 53 in some spots, which it should be enough to get things done. And it'll be really interesting to watch surface observations tomorrow as we move through the day to see what the moisture is actually doing. If the moisture is much better, then it could be a pretty big outbreak, potentially. But yeah, so moisture is a big limiting factor in this. We'll go ahead and take a look at the reflectivity of what it's kind of showing on the HRRR model run as we move this forward. So we're into Sunday. Go ahead and keep moving this forward. So around 21Z starts to fire things, and then by 23Z, so around 6 or 7, things really start getting going. It shows these supercells down here, and then it kind of moves those forward. And then it looks like it kind of struggles. It'll probably be ahead of some stuff, so it'll be interesting. There could be a brief few hour window period. Sorry, but yeah, as you can see in Nebraska, it's also showing stuff up here. These could be some pretty low top supercells. Yeah, what's up, Alan? I might actually be staying in Heston tonight potentially, so gotta see if Duncan's maybe available. But yeah, it's interesting that the HRRR model run is showing some of those cells up there in Nebraska, basically in the North Platte area. So I'm really conflicted on where I want to target. I mean, I think Kansas definitely has the better potential down in like South Central Kansas. But there is a potential here in Nebraska, and it'll be very interesting what is shown on the morning update. Let's go ahead and take a look at the NAM3K model. We'll use reflectivity starting out as well. We'll go ahead and move this forward into Sunday. So it shows about 21, 22Z as well. However, it looks like it shows these firing way further west than what the HRRR, so that's kind of interesting. And then not a whole lot as you move through the evening and overnight time frame. But yeah, the NAM is showing this way further to the west. Once again, it does show a little bit up by Nebraska, just kind of further south. We'll take a look at what the NAM shows dew points, because the HRRR model run typically likes to overdo the moisture sometimes, and the NAM kind of likes to underdo it as well sometimes. But yeah, NAM is kind of painting the same picture. Shows some pockets of 53s, mid 50s dew points. So if that's the case, it should just be enough to get things done. I would like to mention that with this system, there is going to be a lot of cold air aloft, very high up in the atmosphere. That should help, and that'll really steepen the lapse rates. So even though the moisture isn't as strong, there should be some other things, other parameters in place that kind of help get storms to fire. But there is also the potential that the storm motions down in Kansas are moving pretty fast, so that is also another concern of mine. I'll go back to the HRRR. We're going to get into the blizzard here in a little bit. Blizzard potential. No blizzard warnings yet, but I'll go ahead and take a look at the updraft helicities. That's another thing to look at on models. So yeah, it does show some in Nebraska, that little pocket just to the east of North Platte, and then down here in Kansas you got those updraft helicity tracks. So this is indicating that they will have some pretty strong updrafts that will be able to maintain themselves. And then let's go ahead and look at the supercell composite. It's another parameter to kind of look at. It's not super strong, the supercell composite, but there is that pocket up here in Nebraska as well, once again right in the North Platte area, and then down here in Kansas, especially if we move this on, very small area of supercell composite. Yeah, happened to you guys the other day. What's up? Supercell to snow. What's going on? Come to Tucson. Yeah, I want to go back so bad, Dan. That's a Facebook comment I'm reacting to now. I want to go back so freaking bad. Anyways, let's kind of switch over into, well, actually, let me show Radar Omega, the tornado potential on here, as you can kind of see some cities. So Hutchinson, Kansas, Wichita, Kansas, Derby, Winfield is just barely in that. Pratt, Kansas, Leonard, Great Bend, Lyon, Sterling. There's quite a bit of towns in there. So I've got to really decide here in the next few hours where I'm going to go. If I'm going to stay here in Nebraska and hope for the best, or venture down to Kansas. But let's go ahead and take a look at the winter side of things. So here's a look at hazards that are currently out, and I can take a look at Radar Omega as well. So we got winter storm watch for a lot of areas in Nebraska. Basically the whole state of South Dakota. Looks like maybe 2 or 3 counties not in that. Large portion of North Dakota as well, and then over here in Minnesota and Wisconsin there is winter storm watches. And then let's see, there's also some winter storm warnings. This map isn't the greatest because it doesn't overlay multiple things at once. So let me go ahead and switch back over to Radar Omega. So winter storm watch for North Platte. We'll go ahead and read this. So yeah, blizzard conditions are possible. It'll be kind of interesting. This should be a pretty wet, heavy snow, so it may not blow around too much after it's fallen, if it is super wet. However, there's supposed to be like 60 mile per hour winds, wind gust up to 60 mile per hour wind, so that may negate that, and snow might blow around anyways. But this is in effect from Sunday evening through late Monday night. So total snow accumulations up to around 4 inches with the light glazed vice. It was kind of interesting. Yesterday it said 4 to 12 inches. So it looks like things maybe have backed off a little bit for the North Platte area. However, with the last system a couple weekends ago that went through, it was a record storm. We got like 18 inches or something like that, around that. Some spots got 20 inches. And that was all due to a very convectively enhanced snow band that set up just to the south of North Platte and then moved north into North Platte. So that being said, if the same thing happens again with this system, North Platte could receive quite a bit of snow and surrounding areas as well. But it looks to me like the heavier snow will be in kind of north central Nebraska into South Dakota, up through Wisconsin and Minnesota. And then, yeah, north central Nebraska, basically all of northern Nebraska into a little bit of eastern Nebraska under the winter weather advisory. So mixed precip expected total snow accumulations of up to 1 inch and ice accumulations around 1/10 of an inch. So that's not good, as they will likely get some icing before the snow comes. Wind gusting as high as 35-mile-per-hour warnings. For the winter storm watch, once again, blizzard conditions are possible. Total snow accumulations of 4 to 8 inches are possible. And once again, that could be locally higher amounts. Hello, Amanda. Thanks so much for joining. Hey, David. Thanks for joining. So good to see you, Amanda. Also, while I have a member in here, if I do head down to Kansas tonight, I would like to do a members-only live stream as I'm driving. That'll probably be like 5 o'clock or so, maybe. So if you're interested in that, please feel free to become memberships. But yeah, just a heads up, Amanda. That'll be later today. Yes, I could stay home and watch snow, Melanie, but I could also get, supercells and tornadoes potentially, and then snow all in like a 12-hour time frame. It's really going to push myself to a limits, because if I chase Kansas, I want to leave tonight, because if I leave tomorrow morning, I'm going to be driving all freaking day, storm chase, and then I'll have to drive like all night back to North Platte. So that's going to really push my limits. So, was there from middle January to early March, no weather, visiting, which, yeah, I feel that. That happens all the time to me. 80 degrees in Tucson today. Sorry, Dan, if I'm missing out, or anybody else on Facebook. But let's go ahead and take a look at the winter severity index. I gotta switch my scene. Sorry, I'm like all over the place, guys, but thank you guys so much for being here. So this is from the Weather Prediction Center, the winter storm severity index, or impact, whatever it's called. So it's showing moderate impacts. Yesterday it was showing some major impacts up here in Minnesota and South Dakota. And then, yeah, it shows shows those moderate impacts all through western Nebraska, north central Nebraska, even down into parts of northwest Kansas, into Colorado as well. So a lot of areas. And then on day 3, it still has moderate impacts across Nebraska, Kansas, South Dakota, North Dakota, a little bit of Minnesota. So let's see. And this is also from the Weather Prediction Center. Excuse me. So this is the probability of snowfall greater than 4 inches. So in the North Platte area, we're looking 10 to 40% in that range, and then north of here, 40 to 70. And then once you get into South Dakota, North Dakota, Minnesota, Wisconsin, you're looking at 70% and above. And we'll go ahead and look at, let's see, I thought there was a way to change. How much snowfall. Oh, here we go. Snowfall over 8 inches. So yeah, it looks to be around that 4 to 8 inch range. Once again, higher amounts are going to be up here in north central Nebraska and South Dakota, up in a little bit over here into Minnesota and Wisconsin. But probability of over 8 inches is much lower. You got like 40 to 70% chance across South Dakota, and then some portions of Minnesota and Wisconsin, you got over 70% chance. Let me go take a look at snowfall totals on the HRRR. The 16Z should be good enough. Total snowfall. So right now we'll kind of look for the Nebraska, Colorado area. So we'll move this forward. Actually, no, we're going to need to use the 12Z because that one doesn't go out far enough. One of these days I'll eventually have my ducks all in a row. But as we move this forward through Sunday night, so this is overnight into Monday, very early Monday morning, showing 10.5, just 11 inches just to the north of North Platte, and 3.2 for North Platte. So as I mentioned earlier, it kind of depends on where snowband's set up, who might see the heaviest snow. But if you're in the North Platte area, like myself, just stay tuned to weather updates. National Weather Service North Platte is a great resource. As these snowfall amounts, they change all the time for these systems. Some of these winter systems are so complex. Like I mentioned, the low for the severe weather, depending on where that low actually sets up, is going to impact snow totals and all of that. Over here in Colorado, 10.4 inches along the Front Range and stuff. Northeast Colorado might get a little bit of snow, 4 to 6 inches maybe. Let me go ahead and move the sector to, regional. Go ahead and look at Wisconsin and Minnesota. Actually, that might not be the best one. Let's try this one because that shows South Dakota and North Dakota as well. So I'll go ahead and move this forward. So yeah, some portions, yeah, look at that band across like central Minnesota into Wisconsin. The higher snowfall totals are definitely going to be in this area, looks like. But then you'll have kind of some areas along there as well. But yeah, this is showing 14 to 16 inches basically across central Minnesota, and have some snow down there as well. And Wisconsin, around 12 inches or so. But yeah, blizzard could be in this area. I mean, it could be in South Dakota as well. I'm not really sure what the winds are supposed to be like up there. Let me see if I can kind of take a look at that. I think this is going to be good. Oh, maybe not. I can never, yeah, I think it's this one. It's kind of hard to tell what it's showing, but as we move through Sunday, like those are 20 knots, 21 knots of wind. And then let me switch it to Nebraska because I think the winds are supposed to be worse in Nebraska, if I'm not mistaken. I'll catch up on chat here in a second. How's the windshield? Windshield is great. It is still intact from the last time that I had it replaced, and there hasn't been any hail as of recent to destroy it with. So hopefully it stays intact tomorrow and I don't lose it tomorrow. Hey Blondie, thanks for tuning in. All right, so let's continue on with this wind. And feel free to ask any questions. I'm probably not going to be live much longer because I need to do some more prepping and stuff. I'm totally not ready for storm chase. So I've got to get my ducks in a row. But let me know if you have any questions about the severe weather or the snow, and we can take a closer look at that. But yeah, look at these winds on this backside. Over 20 knots in some places. Over here shows 30 knots. As we keep moving that forward, you know, it's nearing 30 knots around the North Platte area. So very strong winds. Once again, in that winter storm watch, it mentioned wind gusts up to 40 miles per hour, or 60 miles per hour, my bad. Let's see, what did it say? See, yesterday it said what the winds were going to be like through the duration of the event. Oops, I just opened up an application that I didn't want to. Let me flip back to Radar Omega real fast, and I've got to look something up real fast. But yeah, feel free to ask any questions. And please remember to subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, as I should be live out storm chasing somewhere tomorrow. Could be Kansas, could be Nebraska. And then I'll probably be live like late Sunday into early Monday morning for the snow in Nebraska, depending on what it looks like. So yeah, we're going to have that severe weather storm chase tomorrow somewhere, and then snow potentially. So yeah, subscribe, turn on the notification bell. If you want to help support my chases and me and the channel and everything, there's donation links and stuff in the description. Also, please feel free to become a member for exclusive benefits. I do plan to do a members only live stream today at some point if I end up traveling, while I'm traveling, just kind of discussing my thoughts and everything more in depth. And then I would like to kind of do one either tomorrow or Monday as well, kind of like an after event recap before I get a bunch of footage out. So yeah, there's just multiple ways to help support me. Let's go ahead and look at the National Weather Service North Platte. Got to switch my scene again. That's an old winter thing. So yeah, National Weather Service North Platte, heavy snow potential for 3 to 8 inches generally, and ice accumulations of a light glaze. North winds gusting up to 60 miles per hour. So there's going to be very dangerous travel conditions, slippery roadways, reduced visibility due to blowing snow as well as drifting snow. Let's see. And then, yeah, this is a great graphic. So North Platte and surrounding areas, Broken Bowl, Mullen, is in this greatest area of uncertainty in snowfall totals. They're pretty confident up here in north central Nebraska of how much snow is going to fall. Also on this graph, it might be a little bit hard to see, but this is the percent chance of 6 inches of snow or more. So in Valentine, you got a 72% chance, Ainsworth, 73% chance, and down here in North Platte, there's only a 22% chance. So, but yeah, confidence continues to grow in the placement of higher snow totals across north central Nebraska Sunday night into Monday. Some uncertainty remains in snow totals, mainly south of Highway 2. Models continue to struggle with the speed of the low pressure system, which impacts the timing of precipitation switching over to snow. Also, on that note, I believe, yeah, we're like in this general thunderstorm up here in North Platte. So there is the possibility of some sub-severe showers later. They probably won't be severe with like hail or anything like that. But there could be some showers that move through that have thunder and lightning. And depending on when that transition to snow is, there might be some thunder snow. So I'm going to be really sad if I miss out on that opportunity for thunder snow in that area, because that is very high up on my bucket list. So I will be really sad if I miss thunder snow as well. But yeah, there is the potential that areas covered by the yellow circle may see local heavier amounts, and we may not know till the snow bands set up, like I said. Yeah, the winds are ripping out here today as well. I was going to see if I could pull up my weather station, but I don't remember what the website is. But yeah, winds are definitely ripping as well. Once again, feel free to ask any questions if you have any. Let me check on Facebook, see if I'm missing any chats there. Doretha, I feel more energetic and in control. And that's definitely a scam one. So we're just going to ban from page. Stupid scammers. Yeah, lots of wind everywhere. It's a very windy time frame. Let me go ahead and just look more at Radar Omega for the severe weather side of things as well. We'll go ahead and turn on the day 1 categorical. Day 2. Getting ahead of myself. Day 2 categorical, so you can kind of see where that slight and marginal general thunderstorm sets up. So there's a lot of areas actually. And then I do need to mention over here in California, up into Maine as well. I'll get to that on snowfall totals and things like that, because California is looking to get pretty slammed again up in their higher terrain, up in their mountains. And then up here in the northeast, it looks to be a pretty good snowstorm as well. But yeah, that slight risk is centered over much of Kansas into Oklahoma a little bit. And then we'll go ahead and take a look at the wind. Day 2. So there's a 15% risk of wind, of damaging winds. And then we'll take a look at hail. And 15%, which basically matches that slight risk area. But yeah, once again, in southwest Nebraska, we're in that area for hail. So actually, North Platte is just barely in it. So it's going to be very interesting. I almost wonder if there will be like kind of a northern shift with that Storm Prediction Center outlook overnight. And if they kind of either expand that marginal and the slight potentially. Models are just kind of having a hard time. So very interesting. Let me go back to the model and we'll take a look at the northeast region, because Maine and up there, like I just mentioned, is going to get quite a bit of snow. Oops, not severe weather, winter weather. Okay, and their snow looks to start today, honestly, and go through tonight into Sunday morning. But yeah, up to 20 inches in some spots. So this region up here in the northeast is going to get quite a bit of snow. I mean, it looks like it's going to range from 10 to about 20 inches. We'll keep moving that forward. Not much else is going to fall. And then let me go ahead and take a quick look over here at California as well for the mountains. They have just got so much moisture and snow end of 2023 into 2024. Theirs looks to start kind of overnight tonight as well. Portions of that area. Anywhere from like 10 to 16 inches I'm seeing. And then up in the higher terrains down here, 10 inches or so, a little bit over that. Looks like parts of Nevada might get some snow, parts of Colorado, parts of New Mexico. Those are probably all going to, or Arizona, that's all going to be in mountainous areas, so that's pretty typical with systems like this. Am I worried about other chaser traffic? In ways, yes. There is a lot of storm chasers nowadays, and the roads, in general, are kind of overcrowded just with like the population in general. And then with all the storm chasers, there is some that drive pretty recklessly and make stupid decisions and kind of ruin it for the rest of us. But in ways, I try and focus on myself for the most part, make sure that I'm driving safe and everything, and I should be fine. But yeah, I'm going to wrap this up here in a few minutes, so please feel free to let me know if you have any questions, and we'll get into that. We'll probably end it around 1:15 or so, because I need to do some more prepping. I've got one of my cameras charging, or the camera battery is charged. I need to test out this new mic that I got, which is on my camera tripod right now. See if I can get this off real fast. So I'm working on that volunteer fire documentary thing for portions of Nebraska and stuff. So I bought some wireless mics that have the lav capability, lavalier or whatever it's called type of mic, and then I figured I might as well get one of these mics, a Rode microphone as well for this camera. Hopefully help out the, God, if I could position it right. This is my Sony AX33. So I figured I'd buy a mic like this to attach to this camera. Hopefully, I mean, the sound quality is pretty good on this, but if there's wind and stuff, it kind of picks up a lot of that wind. And if there's a lot of background noise, it picks up that as well. So I'm hoping that mic will help it out for the storm chasing videos and when I do my documentary as well. But yeah, I've got to get my car ready. My car is kind of dirty. I need to clean out my trunk. Need to set some stuff back up in there, my camera mount and my phone mount, so I can do the stream and stuff. I don't know who helped me pick those mics. Definitely wasn't a guy named Sydney. But once again, please make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of the live storm chase tomorrow into Monday potentially. We'll see. It helps out the channel. Please feel free to leave a super chat if you want to help support me. I have merchandise available for sale. I have prints available for purchase. Donation links for like PayPal, Cash App, and Venmo are in the description. So any of those types of support greatly help me out and funding this equipment that I need to continue storm chasing, and gas and food and all that fun stuff to continue storm chasing as well. But let's see if there's anything else on models that I can take a look at while I wait for some questions if there's any. And then I just want to give a huge shout out to my mods. My mods are fantastic. I know I haven't been putting them to work too much as of recent since I haven't been able to storm chase too much besides some winter stuff locally to me. But I have a great team of mods here who greatly help keep this channel running and support a lot of the back end functions. I wonder if I can take a look at sounding, even though I'm terrible at reading the soundings. No, I have a Nebraska license plate on the front of my vehicle. Do not have a Cubs one. I'm trying to find a sounding to take a look at. If I do it like right there. Just having trouble pulling a good sounding. Possible hazard type none. But up here in Nebraska. Yep, that's not a good one either. No, I haven't been down to Wichita in a while. I need to get down and visit my parents and stuff. Anything else I can take a look at? I think we're good. Just kind of skim. Actually, I'll go ahead and read this Storm Prediction Center outlook, and then we'll go ahead and wrap things up. So, yeah, there's a slight risk of severe thunderstorms from northwest, north central Oklahoma into western and central Kansas tomorrow. Isolated to scattered severe thunderstorms should develop Sunday afternoon and persist through Sunday night across parts of the southern central plains. Large hail and a few tornadoes should be the main threats, but occasional severe winds may also occur. A low-amplitude southern stream's shortwave trough is forecast to move quickly from its initial position over the lower Colorado Valley, blah, blah, blah. I won't bore you too much with that. So that's a lot of reading as well. Strong mid-level flow will accompany this shortwave with 70 to 80 knot of 500 millibar flow spreading across the southern plains throughout the day and across the lower Mississippi Valley and mid-Mississippi Valley overnight. There will be a deep surface cyclogenesis across the central high plains. By Sunday afternoon, a sub 985 millibar low, which is a pretty strong low, will likely be over the southern Colorado-Kansas border vicinity with a dry line arcing southeastward from this low across the Oklahoma Panhandle and then southward across western Oklahoma. Blah, blah, blah. General consistency within the guidance places the low 50 dew points over western Oklahoma early Sunday morning with higher dew points still south of the Red River. So once again, they're talking about how dew points and the moisture is a concern. Low to mid 60 dew points will likely still be along the lower Texas coast. A robust mass response is anticipated with low-level flow contributing to notable moisture return. Even so, dew points will likely still be in the low to mid-50s across western Oklahoma as the dry line moves into the region during the afternoon. Additionally, early period precipitation and widespread cloud cover will temper heating, especially from central portions of Kansas and Oklahoma eastward, northeastward. As a result, while the overall upper pattern and resulting wind fields match a typical southern central plain severe event, the lack of better low-level moisture will act as a major limiting factor. So yeah, that is a big downfall with this system. If we had upper 50 to 60 dew points, this would be a super, super classic Great Plains severe weather and likely tornado outbreak. But it's just that moisture, which actually I want to show one other thing on model before they wrap this up of why that moisture is limiting, because there's like a trough over by Florida, I think, that's helping cut off that moisture. But also today, the moisture down there in Texas was being pushed south back out into the Gulf. So if that trough and other system out in the eastern United States wasn't there, yeah, it'd be a whole different story. But these they should start out as like semi-discrete or discrete supercells, and then they always tend to grow upscale into like a squall line. So that's pretty typical. And then also, just kind of due to some of those parameters, when the storms get going, they might be kind of elevated. So that'll kind of limit the tornado potential as well, unless if one is like way more surface based than the other. But yeah, that's basically that. Expected to consider making sure there's not anything more important on here. There could be a short duration where surface-based storms interact with a strengthening low-level flow, resulting in a low probability tornado risk. Let me go back here to the models and kind of show why that moisture is not going to be there. So I guess you can't really see it as good today. Let me see if I can find like an older run that really shows it. Yeah, here we go. So this is an older HRRR model run, but as you can see, like in Oklahoma, there's basically 50-degree dew points, and throughout, I think this would be today, but they all get pushed south. Oops. No, I don't want to click a sounding. They all got pushed out into the Gulf of Mexico, which is pretty interesting. So like they were up here. As we move that forward, the blues is way higher moisture content, and higher dew points. So down here in the Gulf, you got mid-60 dew points. And there was kind of an area along the coast there. But yeah, they all got pushed back out into the Gulf of Mexico. And then they try and make their way back north. And that's kind of interesting because, like, here where this... Oops. Dang it. Quit clicking. It's kind of interesting because you can... Like, this is kind of the area of that low. So it wraps around up here. Let me see if I can find that on... It should be on the 12Z run that goes out that far too. Because like I mentioned earlier, there could be some supercells that happen up there, kind of along that triple point. But yeah, there's the kind of low up there. So depending on how much moisture gets kind of sucked into that low, up around that low, I mean, that could be a spot to look out for in Nebraska. Sup, bunghole? Tristan on Facebook. But yeah, any of the Facebook peeps that are watching, not sure how many of you there are, but yeah, I've got it to where I can stream to my YouTube and Facebook all at the same time. So I'll be doing more live storm chases over on Facebook. However, I won't have full access to the chats and stuff, so YouTube is still definitely the best place to watch. But if there's no questions, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Once again, Amanda, if you're still in here, look out for a members only stream sometime later today, or possibly tomorrow as well. I would like to do a members only stream for you guys. And if you're not a member yet, please feel free to consider becoming a member for exclusive benefits and perks and stuff. I share kind of behind the scenes stuff of certain things, footage that gets released early to you guys before the general public, things of that nature. And I definitely want to start becoming more active for the members and everything. Please feel free to leave a super chat if you want to help support me and fund these chases. Like I mentioned before, got prints, got merch, all that fun stuff. Other than that, I need to finish prepping and eat some food and figure out what the heck I'm going to do, because I have no idea. I could just stay in North Platte and wait for the snow, but I could go down to Kansas. Like, I might as well, or even like up here in Nebraska, I don't know. But I might as well go somewhere. Oops, that's not what oh yeah, it is. I might as well go somewhere and try to get supercells and tornadoes, and then haul ass back home. Try to anyways. It's going to be exhausting. But try to haul butt back home and then chase snow like very early Monday morning. That is my plan. So, yeah. But all right, folks, if there's no questions, I'm going to go ahead and end this. Otherwise, I could just keep blabbering. Hope to see y'all in the live storm chase tomorrow, wherever I may end up. I will also post, whenever I finally decide what I'm doing, I'll post that to my members only as well. So, thanks for joining, everybody. Good to see a lot of familiar names. Alan, Sydney, of course, one of my moderators, Amanda, Melanie, Matt, Blondie was in here at one point. But yeah, thanks so much for joining, everybody. Hope to see you around. Stay safe and take care, everyone.